You ever had one of those days where you're literally holding the phone with the mayor, yep, the actual mayor of your city, when a woman in a fuchsia power suit materializes in your kitchen like a fever dream from a bad election cycle? Let me tell you, I hadn't even set my coffee down when Celeste Ashworth strolled in, all platinum hair and queen of the cul-de-sac attitude, her husband Sterling lurking behind her, already casing my lake view like he was measuring for drapes. And before you ask, no, I didn't invite them in. In fact, the only people who even know my kitchen code are dead or owe me money. But there they were, right? As Mayor Davidson's voice was buzzing through the speaker, asking for the final environmental talking points for her press conference. Celeste, just get this, leans over and hangs up my phone, just reaches right over, ends the call. No apology, not even a who's this. She disconnects the mayor in my kitchen, then demands my property for her husband's city council campaign. If you're wondering what audacity looks like, I can describe her shoes too. Sterling doesn't even blink. These folks are so used to getting their way, they don't recognize a political landmine when they step on it. And right then, standing there with my phone dead in my hand, I realize they genuinely believe they can bulldoze anyone. Let me tell you, that's where the fun begins. Because if you ever wondered what happens when you hang up on the one person who actually controls your political future, stick around. This is how a single phone call destroyed 2 careers and kicked off the wildest HOA chess match you've ever seen. Now, before we get into how it all unraveled, and trust me, it gets juicy, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your city or country in the comments because I'm tracking where these HOA nightmares pop up most. Let's see who's got it worse, you or me. All right. So, 3 hours after Celeste's little kitchen coup, her husband's city council dreams were toast on live TV, and she was begging me to save whatever scraps were left of their political empire. But to see how we got there, you gotta back up to that morning. It started out peaceful enough. I was in my sunroom at the old family lodge I'd just inherited, watching mist curl off Mirror Lake, reviewing the mayor's speech about waterway protections. My Aunt Minerva left me the place, 15 acres of prime, crystal-clear lakefront conservation easements, and a fortress of paperwork making sure no developer could touch it. Or so I thought. Now, most people in Lakeside Estates figure I'm just some remote consultant, quiet keeps to himself, always waving at neighbors, never causing trouble. What they don't know, I'm the senior campaign strategist for Mayor Cordelia Davidson, the mind behind every policy, win she's had for 6 months, 40% of city council votes. That was me building alliances, tightening the message, making sure Davidson's name stays at the top of every ballot. My neighbors think I just answer emails in my pajamas. They have no idea. That morning's call with Davidson was routine. She needed my final edits for her press conference about protecting the lake, restricting developers, real environmental teeth, the whole deal. I'm on the phone, coffee in hand, sun streaming in when my kitchen door swings open. Enter Celeste Fuchsia. Suit sharp, bob expensive. Everything followed by sterling gray suit. Soft hands, the look of a man who's never dug a hole in his life. Mr. Garrett, she says, we're here about the Community Enhancement Project. She doesn't wait for introductions. Just waltzes in, lays out documents on my table, official looking, full of seals, signatures, aerial photos of my property, like she hired a drone pilot. She starts talking about emergency eminent domain conversion to a community events venue, legal ordinances, underutilized assets. I'm skimming the paperwork, hearing words like required accommodation, community improvement, emergency ordinance. It's all dressed up legalese, but the gist is clear. They want my house for their political and business machine. Sterling pipes up, smooth voice. Real estate developer confidence. Talking about high-value events. Private dock for luxury vessels, community benefit, all while eyeing my lake like it's already his. Then he drops the real plan, forced compliance, new emergency ordinance, my property turned into their private venue for special clientele, read donors, backroom deals, and political arm twisting with lake views, not an offer, a demand. Now, I might look like a pushover, but I didn't get Davidson her 67% approval rating by folding easy. I start picking apart the ordinance passed in an emergency session, no notice tailored to target exactly my property. The language is fishy, high-value guest services community, oversight 72-hour mandatory access. I'm not buying it. Celeste just smiles, says Lakeside Estates isn't just any community. Mr. Garrett, we have relationships at every level, state, officials, executives, decision makers who value privacy. She's leaning in close like she's letting me in on a secret, but it's all threat, no charm. If I don't comply, Sterling says they've already retained Blackwood. Sterling and Associates, those guys have a reputation for muscling property owners and smoothing out political rough spots. They toss out obstruction of justice and criminal charges like confetti. Suddenly my phone rings again, City Hall Davidson. Celeste tries to stop me from answering, says my consulting work can wait. But I pick up. Davidson's still on speaker and I lay it all out for her. Celeste's face goes white as I introduce her on record to the mayor of the city. Sterling tries to backpedal, claiming it's just a planning discussion, but Davidson isn't buying. She demands every bit of documentation Celeste has and wants it emailed to City Hall in an hour. Now, the Ashworths realize they just stepped into a bear trap. I'm not just some consultant. I'm the architect of the mayor's entire environmental initiative, the one putting real teeth in waterway protections and shutting down precisely the kind of community improvement projects Sterling's been running around the county. Celeste tries to play nice, but Davidson's already moved the chess pieces legal review, full investigation, and a warning not to provoke anything further. The Ashworths leave in a cloud of expensive perfume and panic, but I know it isn't over. They're used to rolling over people, but they've never run into someone with City Hall on speed dial. I call Davidson. She's as rattled as I am. The legal team gets involved, and I start digging into the Ashworths' background. The more I find, the uglier it gets. Emergency ordinances, forced sales, all bought up by Sterling's development company at rock-bottom prices, then flipped into private venues for events. Every time the same playbook: HOA, pressure, legal threats, financial isolation. And always, always Celeste at the front, waving her community banner like it's a license to steal. Now here's the twist. I get a call from Dr. Isabel Thornton, 2 doors down, a retired marine biologist with a file box full of receipts. She's been tracking Celeste's moves for 18 months, documenting environmental damage, illegal property transfers, even campaign finance payments looping back to Sterling's company. She lays it all out: photos, emails, water quality reports, financial records. Turns out every property they've seized has suffered environmental damage, and all the money trails lead back to the Ashworth Circle. Thornton's tried reporting it, but Celeste's network runs deep. Her husband's law firm represents half the politicians who control enforcement. But now that she knows I'm plugged into the mayor's office, she's hoping we can finally break the cycle. Next morning, a full inspection squad rolls up: Bentley County inspector surveyors and 2 corporate lawyers. They demand access. Flash a court order from a judge who just happens to be in the developer's pocket. I stand my ground, insist on legal review, produce Dr. Thornton's documentation, and hand it to the county inspector. His face turns gray. He calls for a halt. Meanwhile, I put Davidson on speaker, and she flat out orders a municipal cease and desist, citing federal protections. Celeste goes red as her suit. Sterling tries to argue, but Davidson isn't having it. They pack up and leave. But Celeste doesn't quit. She hits me with a barrage: emails to my clients, calls to my bank contractors, backing out, trying to squeeze me financially, socially, any way she can. What she doesn't know is I've got the mayor's office, the legal team, and a whole file of federal environmental violations. That night, Davidson calls. Turns out the emergency ordinance they used was drafted with confidential city data. Someone on the inside's feeding the Ashworths intel. The scheme is bigger, more sophisticated, a network across multiple states, illegal campaign finance, property laundering through HOAs. By now, the FBI's involved. Agent Martinez calls me, says they've been tracking this kind of HOA corruption for 18 months, building a case across 3 states. She tells me to keep documenting, not to interfere. They want the Ashworths to play their hand in public, to catch the whole network on camera. And that's exactly what happens. Sterling schedules a press conference on my dock, cameras rolling, announcing a city council bid and the community enhancement plan right on my property without permission, broadcasting how they're about to seize my home. Meanwhile, Davidson goes live across town, announcing new federal waterway protections, making Sterling's entire platform illegal in real time. Celeste, desperate claims live on TV that the mayor supports their project. Channel 7 fact-checks it in real time. Davidson immediately denounces the plan, names me as her senior advisor, exposes the property grab, and threatens federal prosecution for any illegal action. The cameras swing to Sterling. He's frozen, sweating, caught live. And then, as if on cue, Agent Martinez steps up and arrests both Ashworths, reading the charges for conspiracy, wire fraud, and campaign finance violations. The Channel 7 crew catches it all. Celeste, still in her fuchsia suit, is cuffed and led away. Sterling's law career is toast. The other families win lawsuits, get their homes back with big payouts. The whole network is exposed. Judges, lawyers, developers, every last one dragged into the light. 6 months later, Celeste's trading her fuchsia suit for prison orange. Sterling's in federal lockup. The lodge is safe, the lake's protected, and Dr. Thornton's research is now the backbone of a nationwide crackdown on HOA corruption. Sometimes I sit on my dock, watch the sun go down, and wonder if Celeste ever thinks about the day she hung up on Mayor Davidson, not knowing she was hanging up on her own future. Let me ask you, if you saw someone digging their own grave on live TV, would you warn them or let them finish? Drop your answer below. And if you've ever tangled with HOA madness or believe in real justice, hit that like and subscribe and tell me your wildest story in the comments. Because out here, one phone call can change everything.